what is the deal with everyone skating flat? It feels like ever since the Wish frame came out in 2018, there's been a big push in aggressive skating to skate flat. Now, I am a huge fan of the Wish frames. I skated the Wish frames and loved them, but I'm also a huge fan of skating anti-rocker. So last week I gave a flat setup a try, and I gotta be honest, it wasn't half bad. So today I am back at the same skate park, trying a different flat setup to see which one I prefer. I am on the Adapt Brutale. This is the 2022 version. It has the removable lining that you can take out if you wear through it. The Adapt is a carbon shell boot, actually made out of a material called Dial-In, but I don't know the difference between carbon and Dial-In. The skin is a nubuck leather, which means that when you put your foot in, you cinch up the laces just like an athletic shoe, and it feels just like an athletics shoe. Super responsive, super comfortable. These are currently my favorite skates. Last week I was on the Fitty Fitty Prime frames, and this week I'm on the Balance 2. We just released these Balance 2 a few months ago. They have a similar split to the original Balance, but it's a little bit wider, about 10 millimeters wider. But we kept the same groove, which means that you're gonna have more distance between these two middle wheels, but the groove is going to stay the same. But the question this week, can I tell the difference between skating Balance 2s and skating Primes? And which do I prefer? My 3 goals today. First, I'm back out here at Marsh. I was here last week, did all of my normal stuff. Today, I'm gonna try to do exactly what I did last week. I'm gonna skate the bowl a little bit. I'm gonna do all of my grinds and see how it feels. My second goal, the biggest concern with skating flat is royale tricks, especially back royales and back farves. That's going to be where it really counts. I love doing back royales. It's my favorite grind. And if I can't sit down on a back royale, it's gonna be really difficult to convert to flat full time. And my third goal, I ran out of energy last week. I have a big ledge over there that I wanted to skate. I don't know that I'm gonna skate that this week. I don't know that it's relevant, but I do wanna try a top acid. It's been a while since I've done top acids on ledges. I actually got them pretty locked in last time I was skating my Adapts here. I tried it a little bit last week and struggled, but it was at the end of a very hot session. Today is a little overcast, actually a little rainy. It was raining on the way here. So we'll see if I can get through it, but if I still have energy at the end of the day, I'm gonna try to do my top acid again. But first, it's time to warm up. Flat is different. I think I mentioned that last week, but definitely a different feel skating this setup versus the anti-rocker that I'm used to. Definitely more swizzly than I guess I'm used to with anti-rocker. That's to be expected. This is a fairly rockered setup, so I've got the 5892s on the inside. They are brand new. They haven't been worn at all. The 5888s on the outside are starting to get some wear. So that means that I've got a slight rocker with the middle wheels being fresh and the outside wheels being a little worn, both at 58 mil. It's not impacting me too much. I do feel when I'm carving around corners that I have a little bit more control of my carve. I don't know that that's a good thing. Again, I like the feeling that I get skating anti-rocker where you kind of pick your line and you have to pick up your feet to change the line. I kind of like that feeling. So this definitely taking a little bit of an adjustment, but I feel like I'm skating smoother, a little bit faster maybe. The biggest change for me skating prime frames is I feel like there's a lot more cushion with this setup. You know, the prime frames have an aluminum core, which means it's effectively a solid aluminum frame that I'm skating on. And that, when you land, can definitely provide a bunch of shock through your system, especially on my heels. These Adapt have a very thin but very dense shock absorber in them that gives them the forward lean that you want. But it's not a pillowy style shock absorber like a Razor's SL or a Shift or Solomon. They're a very responsive pad, which is good, but you definitely feel every single shock. And when you're skating an aluminum frame with a carbon boot, you could definitely feel it. Not having that problem with these frames, so that feels good. I'm not noticing any different in the ride height though. So the prime frames are 3 millimeters taller than these frames. They fit a maximum of a 65 millimeter wheel. This fits a maximum of a 60, so technically 2.5 millimeters, say 3 millimeters taller. I'm not noticing much of a difference with that. I think 3 millimeters is kind of negligible, but definitely noticing the shocks. All right, let's go try some grinds. Soul tricks, absolutely no issues. They're just as clean as when I was skating anti-rocker. You know, there's a few tricks that when you're skating flat, you'll notice you might get a little bit of wheel bite skating soul tricks. One for me is a soul grind, and the other one is a true Miz. Both of those tricks, absolutely no problems. Maybe it's because I was used to skating flat and my mind was still adjusting, push your foot out a little bit more. Maybe the harder middle wheels made a difference, and maybe the Balance 2 is a better frame for flat than the primes. Either one of those, I'll take it because it felt great when I was skating. So yeah, absolutely no issues. All right, Royales. So Royales were no problem. Front Royale, couple tries, started locking on. Back Royale, couple tries, started locking on. If anything, maybe a little easier to do Royales. Farve, completely different story. So I kept slipping out of my groove. I'm pretty confident with back Farves. I just charge at it and fly and lock on no problem. My last session here with prime frames skating flat, the exact same wheels, prime frames, first try, absolutely no problems. This was a struggle, absolute struggle. So I might not do back Farves the way that you're supposed to do back Farves, but I'm consistent with my back Farve. And I kept slipping out of the groove. So this balance frame has a much smaller groove. It is a nice tight groove, but because the split is not as wide, and because the groove isn't as deep, I kept slipping out. I feel like I kept slipping out on back Royales or back Farves. Very interesting. Even when I got it, it was a mess. You know, I slipped all over the place. That's a super interesting thing. So I think for me, a deeper groove is better for doing torque style tricks, back Farves, back torque, etc. Whereas a tighter groove is better for everything else. Soul tricks, Royales, things like that. Super interesting. It makes sense. It makes sense to me because it's a different body placement, it's a different angle, but I didn't consider that. Super, super fascinating. All right, I'm feeling okay. I think I'm gonna try the top acid and see if I can get it. I'm gonna try it a few times on this low ledge just to warm myself up and get used to throwing top acid again, and then I'll try it on the bigger ledge. Man, I finally start getting wheel bite, and what is it? It's on a top acid. What are the odds? I mean, I guess it makes sense. You know, if I don't have full confidence on my topside foot, I'm relying a little bit more on my front foot for balance. That's the way that I do top acid. So, you know, whenever I miss, my front foot is still on the ledge. My back foot keeps sliding off. All right, gonna try the top ledge. Wish me luck. I am so close. I can feel it, but I just can't lock it. I know when I'm doing wrong, I just can't correct myself. My aim is right sometimes, but then I open my shoulders too much. I need to close my shoulders a little bit more, keep that front foot off the ledge. This being a rounded ledge makes it a little bit more difficult, but I should be able to get this. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break and give it 5 more tries. Just needed a break. Just needed a break, a little stretch, refocus. Chicken is focused. Rob G, Jess D, focus the chicken. You're good to go. That was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Felt amazing. Locked on solid. First trick. No wheel bite. No rolling. God, felt good. Verdict. I mean, these frames are great. The only issue was doing that back farv. And if I can say that I could do all of my tricks except for one, skating flat, that is a pretty good compromise for the added stability that I get skating flat, the added turniness, a little bit less stress on the knees, a little bit more shock absorption on the knees. It's all about the knees. Maybe that's why flat is so popular now, because we're all getting older. Some of us won't admit it. And we're looking for a little bit more of a comfortable ride than skating 92A and a rocker. I know I am. Great session today. I felt really good. Felt great to get out here. It's been a stressful, long week, but I am so happy with this setup. Going on a field trip next week, so make sure that you follow the Instagram. I'll be posting to stories as I move along with some of the friends and foes that I will be meeting up with. Back to blading.com for all the information. Oh, last thing, blading community. We are shutting down blading community. The project is amazing. Love you all. Love everybody who's contributed. But to be honest, I'm just tired. You know, it's been 3 years of blading community, doing an edit every month, and I feel bad because I'm not able to keep up. You know, I've got so much going on in life right now with balance and with school, kids back at school and work, that I just don't have time to commit to making sure that edit gets out on time. So we're going to shut it down. This is the last month, but I could use your help. We're going to do a complete edit with everybody who has ever posted anything to blading community. All I need is your best trick. So anything that you've got that you've been holding on to for an edit that you're never going to put together, send it over, back to blading.com/community. If you want to go out this weekend, get yourself a trick. You've got until Monday. I'm going to do the edit this week and then we'll post it on Wednesday. So you've got until Monday, back to blading.com/community. Any trick you got, go out with a bang. This is going to be the one that people remember. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're being safe out there, and I'll see you next week. All right, quick test after I drop the mic to make sure that it still works. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Oops.